Hi, this is Ron Martinson of ronmartblog.com, and I'm here today to talk about the new Fujifilm XQ1. And I'm going to compare it against a Fujifilm X20 just so you can kind of have some ideas, since these are both very similar target audiences, but with a more compact version of the X20 in this XQ1. Thought it'd be good to show them side by side. So right off the bat, you can tell that it's physically much smaller. Here's like a PowerShot G16 by Canon, and even by comparison to that, it's much smaller. It's a really tiny camera. And if you look at the top, you still have your mode dial, but that's it. You lose exposure compensation. And then you lose this function button that you get on the X20. And then you still have ability for a little pop-up flash. The one on the Fujifilm works basically the same way. The X20 works the same way. And then when you look on the back, what you get is a bigger LCD. And over here, very important, there's a Q button to get to the quick mode. That doesn't exist on here, and that's really probably my biggest gripe about this camera. You also, on the Fujifilm, have this nice row of buttons on the side here, and what they've done here on the XQ1 is they've added this E function button, which when you press it, it puts up this menu to basically say this is what these things are doing. So let me actually go over to aperture priority and show you how this works. So if I say this, I can change my film styles by pressing this button. So get back to like a standard mode. And if I press this, it's showing me that if I push this to the left, I get ISO, to the right I get white balance, up I get drive mode, and down I get the AF point. And that's the most important one, because my default AF point's way up here and I want to change it. I want to be able to just quickly push a button and do it, but now I have to press one button, two, and then I can move it around. That's really annoying to me, honestly. This is one thing that really I just couldn't live with this camera because of that lack of easy access. And there's a control ring on the front, which is programmable. So if I push this here and I rotate the control ring, it'll actually give me options for things that I can program to the control ring. But naturally, autofocus point isn't going to be one of those, because that's something that requires this D-pad. So I usually just leave mine set to exposure compensation. And so the thing that I found frustrating when using this camera is I have to press this and down anytime I want to move my AF point, and that's just really, really annoying. I can still change the size of the AF point using the rotate dial, and then I can move it around. And then you also can do white balance, and press this up here, I can control my control ring. So beyond that, it's pretty much like most compact cameras, and like the X20. You have your various display modes on the back, so you can see your grid lines, and there's a quick record button for doing movies, and then your macro mode, flash, timer, and then exposure compensation. Fortunately, exposure compensation is pretty easy to get to. And then you can use the zoom to zoom in on your images in playback mode, as well as when you're taking pictures you can zoom back and forth. So nothing very different there. You have your common modes up here. Let's just turn this off. Manual, custom, SP, which is their scene mode, advanced filters, which is just some kind of Instagram-ish like filters. SR Plus is the kind of improved auto mode that does a lot of things you basically have no control over it, but the camera basically decides to do everything for you. Really good for spouses who aren't into photography. They want it to behave just like a phone. It actually works quite well. And then your basic modes. So I generally am in aperture priority, and when I hand it over to my wife, I just put it in SR Plus for her. Like I said, it's a light camera. It's got a nice design. The certain texture of it's really good, so it doesn't seem like it's going to scratch very easily. And it's really a nice lightweight. When you compare it to the X20, which seems rather bulky in comparison, but this is also a much easier camera to change on the fly, because you have access to all of your control buttons. And for the person who likes manual control, this is really the way to go. This is really, I think, intended for the person who's going to just put it in SR Plus mode and let the camera make all the choices for them, because I can't see really many people enjoying this whole process of trying to go through this menu to change their AF points, as complicated as that is. So still a very nice camera. All the menu features that you're used to seeing from Fujifilm cameras, it's all basically there, and it seems to be taking pretty good pictures and performing about like my X20. So it's not a bad camera. It's just I believe too dumbed down. Visit me on ronmarkblog.com for my full review and picture samples, and check the right side of the blog to see an index of all of my reviews. Thank you very much.